Thanks for everybody for joining. We're going to record this and certainly be sharing the content going forward. I'm Tim Slevin, CEO of TheShareGroup, and Brittney Kosev, broker and founder of BK Real Estate in Dallas. Thanks for being here. My man behind the scene is Drew Lundgren, so he helps us out. Appreciate you guys having your camera on. While we have a lot to share with you, we're welcoming the interruption questions, hand raises. So use the chat or anything that would work for you, going forward. So quick introduction on myself. I've been in information services companies for the past 20 plus years. My career has been built around creating information solutions, specifically as they relate to sales and marketing applications. So how do I get from where I am today to my ideal target market, my best prospects, start a relationship, and then ultimately have the opportunity to do business with them and keep them as my client, for their lifetime. So that's really my big goal. Information has made that so much more efficient over the past decades that I've been in it. It's an exciting time to be exactly where we are. So I really also like to level set because I know that you're bombarded with sales, marketing, lead, CRM solutions that it's difficult to vet all of that without wasting too much time and money. So I know you're flooded. Everybody who's joining us, thank you for being here, but you're flooded with invites and opportunities and outreach to spend your money to find sellers. We're not going to be pursuing that. I know that we offer a key strategy and a piece of information to make the best use of your time. But the most vital piece of this is you. And everybody who's successful, before Brittney and I met, she was successful. I didn't help her become successful. You're going to find your own path. And that means that based upon what you're willing to do and what you want to earn, you're going to find your ideal lead generation solution. If you don't do that, you compromise on what you want to get out of the business. That's the truth, right? So the people that I hear about in the business today that are under 25, that are been in the business less than 18 months, who entered this in not ideal times, who are doing 20 and 30 transactions, they don't care. They don't care about getting hung up on. They don't care what the obstacle is. They see free enterprise, open competition, and an opportunity where the hustle game turns into money, and they go, that's my game. That's the game I want to be in, because I know my effort will get better. I will get sharper. I'll get smarter. I'll get more effective with my time. And then I'll have a higher close ratio. I'll have better conversion. But there's many paths to get there. We're going to give you one path that we think is going to be, effective for you. So that being said, TheShareGroup, the company that's kind of hosting this along with Brittney and BK, data science company. We have been addressing the problem of quality data in real estate and sales and marketing for investors, brokers, and agents for the past 7 years. We partner with the best technological companies, the best brokers, and best agents to achieve these outcomes and validate that our plan, our path, our solution works. So I only know that we're successful in this path through this strategy because our clients tell us it works. And my toughest customer is somebody who dabbles in the idea of creating leads. So we have to go all in, and you have to go all in for a lot longer than you want in order to get the results that you deserve, and should achieve. BK, tell us about your business, Brittney, and let's do your intro now that I've hogged the mic so far.
Oh, no, you're not hogging the mic at all. I'm here to help and support. My name is Brittney Kosev. I'm the broker owner of BK Real Estate. We are located in Texas with market centers across most of the major cities. In fact, I see a few of my agents on. We've got Natura in DFW. I see Mike in San Antonio. So we started 2.5 years ago. And let me tell you this, 8 years ago, I got into real estate. For 3 years, like many of new people getting started, I worked 2 jobs. I was a school librarian and I sold real estate. And I quickly realized that if I wanted real estate to be my all, I need to give it my all. And I'm also a single mom, so I wanted to provide the best life for my kids. So my 3rd year in real estate, when I was still a librarian, I made $80,000 that year. And I was like, man, if I could make this much with only part of my time in real estate, what could I do if I went all in? And so I did that next year. I tripled my income and then I doubled it. And then I did even more. And then I was like, I need doing and how to be successful in this. And so that's why I got started. But really, at the crux of who we are at BK, we sell a lot of real estate. We have a lot of training and support. But what makes us different too is our focus on real estate as an investment. And I want every single agent that works with us, every client, to make sure that they're buying great properties for them. And so I'm a real estate investor myself. I've got short-term rentals, mostly midterm rentals, and I flip as well. And so we're really passionate about generational wealth mindset, which is a really big key. I actually have a podcast. It's called Cut the BS, Build the Dream. And it's a mindset podcast. It's about entrepreneurship. But that BS, a lot of people think it's for bullshit, but it's for belief systems. Cut the bad belief systems that hold us back, whether it's scarcity mindset with money, whether it's how our parents raised us, whatever the case may be, because our mindset is our greatest tool in this business. So that's kind of the culture that we've built at BK. We're all about collaboration and then cash flow, whether it's from our sales commission or that rental income that we're pulling in each month. But we're one of the top performing brokerages in Texas. We're selling about $20 million in volume a month, which is amazing, especially for an agency of about 130 agents. So our goal here is to help our agents build scalable businesses through tools, data like Tim has available for us, branding, and of course, investing. So I'm here today to complement everything that Tim's going to be showing you because I've been putting it into action at our brokerage and specifically with my production because I'm still an active agent as well. In fact, I'm sitting in one of my listings right now because we just got done shooting a video. So that's a little bit about me and BK, and I'm glad to be here to support.
Awesome. Brittney, thanks very much. We definitely need the practitioner side. And you said you're an investor in short-term and midterm. I'm like, it's hard not to be a participant in the system where you're facilitating these transactions, the generational wealth for other people. And you're like firsthand going, I think this is a good one for me to pick up. So that's kind of cool. I'd like to hear more about that. So what we're talking about today, and go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, I see a couple of more. We've got Houston. I just saw MJ. Nami's here from Corpus. So I'm excited. Some of my agents from across the state are here to listen in too.
Awesome. Thank you for joining again. So this really is for realtors. And this is my slide where I go, I know what it's like. Even though I haven't been a realtor, I've been working with them for the past 3 years. I talk to at least 5 realtors a day or some brokers as well. And I know what it's like in that the leads are getting more expensive. And now there's the thought that the systems that you've been trusting may have been elevating the prices or selling leads to multiple people. It's hard to know, really what you can trust. What we're talking about is a system you can control, manage, maintain, and operate from your desktop where there's zero trust and your skills get stronger and your results get better. But you don't have to give away 30% of your commission to a third party for a lead that is often no better than a cold call. That's the thing that blew my mind. I'm talking to a realtor and I go, you bought the lead and then what happened? I call them up and they're like, I didn't fill out that form. I mean, that must be disheartening to go, but I paid for it. I have your name. You filled out the form and they're kind of denying and ghosting it. So the low quality, low volume leads that don't work. You want to run strong systems that give you a predictable outcome. You want to talk to people in the market who are interested in selling. So we're big proponents of a top of funnel strategy. So the FISBOs and the expireds, and those are near term, highly competitive, time sensitive, quick turn opportunities. Potentially, we're going to the top of funnel that says, if you've been in this business for 3, 6, 9, or 10 years or weeks or months, that you'd like to have a predictable outcome in 26 and start planting those seeds today. So how do we make that happen? So we're selling weights. So I don't have any good leads. I have leads that are going to sell. I have realtors who are effective and know how to use that information, but I don't overpromise and I don't oversell. I want somebody to know the worst case scenario and be great with that, to know that if I make the calls, a lot of people are going to say no, but I'm going to have 20 conversations if I make 300 or 400 dials a day. And those 20 conversations are going to turn into 1 or 2 leads. They're going to buy or going to sell with me in 2026. So you want the muscle, you want marketing energy. We're going to show you how to do that. And this is all about the top of funnel or off market leads. The FSBOs and expireds are widely available, but the quantities are limited. We're going to fix that. Just think about this. In a market where you have 1,000 leads, you're going to have 30 transactions, and we're going to cut that prospecting universe from 1,000 homes down to 500 and keep those same sellers in your prospecting pool. So we're going to make you a lot more efficient. We need to know the turnover rate in our market to understand what sort of results we should expect. These are unlimited, they are unpublished, and they're underworked. So I think I've done 6 real estate transactions in the past 10 years. I've never had a realtor call me a year after I bought and say, "You've been there a year, Tim. How's it going? What are you going to do next?" That doesn't happen. I also haven't anybody call me up and say, "Hey, Tim, you've been in your home for 7 years. Is it exactly what you wanted? And when are you thinking about selling? What's your next move?" Right? It just doesn't happen that often. And when it does, it's gold for that person, because I don't want to be matched with a realtor through a web form. I want to meet somebody who knows the coffee shop I go to, knows the place where I play golf, where I shop, where we go to dinner. That's a person I can relate to, is in a similar age and lifestyle and community, who's going to know exactly kind of what I'm looking for and why I might be interested in selling. So the value in this situation is 100% you. These leads are 20 cents. So how would that turn into a $10,000 or $20,000 commission if it wasn't the value that you brought to that by starting that conversation and doing the persistent follow-up? That's really what's working. So our system is super simple. Download high quality leads, contact high potential sellers, delegate your cold calling to Angel AI, manage that campaign every week, start a new campaign every week, and personally call anybody who doesn't hang up on you and say, "Don't call me back." That's pretty simple. You could also do all of those top of funnel calls yourself as well, but Angel AI supports that. We're going to get into that relationship shortly. So anybody who shows interest, we call them, and let's start running multiple campaigns, because what we have is a call center team based in the US that will call anybody that you want. And we're going to talk about all the campaign variations. So it's not just 100% cold call outreach. There's other applications which you can use. So this is a team of experts that are dedicated to helping you be successful in not only finding sellers, but also having a mortgage that's successful, for your buyer. All right. So these leads, very quickly, it's a lead store that we built. We've got our CTO on the call with us, Dan, up in Seattle. He built what we think is the easiest to use store for finding sellers and downloading that leads and putting it into action quickly. So some typical and common targets that we go after are downsizers, the likely to sell. The absentee owners are fantastic. You can also use any one of about 200 different data elements to identify exactly the type of seller you're looking for. So that can be an age, an income, a length of residence, a type of dwelling, certainly geography, purchase price, years in residence, loan to value. Tell us what you're looking for, and we'll find all of those people that you have that great affinity with and can start the conversation to find out when they're ready to go. They don't have anybody better than you. They just haven't heard from you yet. On the good side, transactionally, there's no subscriptions. If I asked anybody on this call to raise their hand if they'd like to have just one more really effective subscription, nobody would raise their hand. Because the good thing about a subscription is I get paid every month if you subscribe. The bad thing about a subscription is you may or may not get the value. Netflix doesn't care how many shows you watch as long as you pay the, what is it, $17.95 a month now? It's expensive, and they always get their money. So we're not going to do a subscription. The leads are inexpensive. Every record that we provide has a phone. There's no skip tracing. You download it, it's ready to go. Here's another thing that we did a couple of years ago that we're very proud of. Nobody has perfect phones. We have the best. Nobody has perfect phones. So what do? When you go, the numbers could be bad. Like I called 100 and I had 20 bad phone numbers. That's terrible. But if you call 1,000, you're not. If you call 5,000, you're not. But if you call 10, it could go that way. So we just said anybody's phone who's disconnected or no longer of service, we're going to replace it for free. So we don't sell a subscription. Every record has a phone that you get, and Angel AI can call those as long as they're not on the do not call list. So you can separate out the do not calls, which Angel AI will call, from those that are on the do not call list. I have a lot of thoughts about that. A lot of sellers answer their phone and are on the do not call list. I'll tell you that. But we're just going to replace those at no cost. It's not a conversation. It's not a problem. If you buy 5,000 leads and you go, I had 300 phones that didn't work, I go in, I hit your account, I put 300 leads back, and you go in and you down fresh leads. Just keep it going. And you can remove or take those DNC, but if we're doing the calling through Angel AI, they're definitely coming out. So I see kind of a fork in the road here. If you are in the pattern of guessing, testing, dabbling, trying, testing again, starting over, if that's really the mode that you're in, you're looking for something that you can invest in that's going to have predictable results, you're going to talk to the market every day. What does every lead generation platform or system promise to do for you? Give you a form, give you a listing, give you an email, give you a phone number. They're really just trying to say you're going to be able to talk to a seller. Why not bypass that and go to the best sellers and talk to them directly? Don't wait for them to fill out a form. Don't let them get paired with a realtor who's willing to give up 30 or 40% of their commission to have that same conversation when you can call them directly. It's an amazingly effective way to do it. So we think you should talk to the market every day. Angel, I can do it for you, and you should do it as well. So the only people who said cold calling doesn't work are the people who want you to stop cold calling so you can buy their leads. I'm going to be very honest. We know it's hard, especially if you haven't done it before. It can feel slow. It's not. I have a partnership with a company that has a 14-line dialer, which means that all you do is talk to people who answer their phones. Pretty cool. It does take skill. There are great coaches out there who can help you get better at that. We work with Coach Bill Pipes. He's amazing at G3 Nation, but there's lots out there who can help you get better at that. And the Angel AI team will support that as well. But it really is free, and we're going to talk about how that makes sense for everybody. So it's time for Brittney to tell us a little bit about your business and how maybe you've been using our leads and the Angel AI platform to build your business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when I first got started, I was kind of that agent that was saying yes to everything, the dabbling agent, calling my friends, just trying to get the word out, right? That's a very common new agent strategy, hosting the open houses wherever they were. But I finally figured out that if I wanted consistent business, then I need to look for consistent customers, right? Consistent clients. And so I decided to narrow it down to investors. I was learning a lot about investing through the Bigger Pockets podcast, and I felt like this is a niche that I could replicate. So I started marketing myself to investors with a discounted commission. Whether interest rates are high or low, investors are always buying. And so that was my strategy. And that's something that I kind of coach my agents in. But what I quickly realized is the value of brand awareness and finding a geo farm area that could be mine. And so I was really zoning in on the Keller area. That's where my kids go to school. That's where I live in DFW. And I was already starting to like do the magazine ads in the local magazine. I rented the Tom Thumb kiosk where the hand sanitizer comes out, right? And then I met Tim and got to know what the data he had that could couple with what I was already doing. And so the way I started leveraging ShareGroup and the data leads is I pulled them by the zip codes that I was already trying to build brand awareness in. And my first couple of calling rounds, which we'll get into in just a bit with Angel, was really brand awareness. And so I took the lists of the data that I bought from ShareGroup and I plugged them in and I had the callers just say, hi, My name's Tim. I'm calling on behalf of Brittney Kosev. You may have seen her in the local magazine or at Tom Thumb. She's a Keller mom and she also sells a lot of real estate. Would you like to speak to her? So that was my first script. I just wanted to kind of get my name out there to a new group of people that may or may not have seen all the things that I was already doing. And then I started, I think we're going to dive into this later, getting really particular about my scripting and figuring out other ways to leverage the data that I'd already purchased through Tim. And so the best path that I kind of found, what's been working really well for me is, like I said, right now I'm sitting in a flip of one of my investor clients who now I've kind of been known as the listing agent for flippers in DFW. So I have probably 6 listings with my sisters on the market right now from investors. So that's that one channel. But what we're doing also is leveraging that geofarm market and tapping into the Keller families through the data that I purchased from Tim. And so we're trying to scale without having to me constantly be out doing all the things, which I'm still doing, but leveraging the systems like Angel AI's cold callers to keep going in the background. And that's where the scaling comes, right? Leveraging tools and data to help with the things you're already doing. We know that the best leads are referrals, right? Or past clients. But like Tim was saying, oftentimes those realtors are not following up. How great would it be if you could have a cold call center call every 6 months the people that you already have worked with and say, hey, this is Tim calling on behalf of Brittney Kosev. She just wanted to make sure that you're doing great in your home. And if there's any concerns that you have or what's going on, would you like to schedule a time to meet with her? That's another great way that you can leverage Angel AI's cold calling center. So I started small and I grew it by leveraging tools and systems. And so I think that's what we're going to dive into next. So why is the calling free? So Angel AI is powered by SunWest Mortgage. And the owner of SunWest has this mission to make sure that your job as a realtor is amplified so that you can focus on the most efficient task, the best use of your time, which is your meeting with clients, right? Your calling of your sphere. So it's running in the background with the cold call center, leveraging that to make your life easier. In Pavan's eyes, the owner of SunWest, is he wants to provide the ability for everyone to access owning a home. And so the way he's trying to do that is making our job as realtors easy. And even if you have a preferred lender that isn't with SunWest, Angel AI is still a free platform that all of us can use, regardless of whether we lend with them or not, which I think is also really, really neat. And there's so many things that Angel AI does. Cold calling, that's just one of the perks. There's free credit repair inside of that. I know that MJ, who's on the call, she's utilized some of that. I've used that. In fact, I was trying to increase my own credit score recently.
Yeah, that's incredible. They
Uh,
they've automated that process of reaching out to the agencies, the credit reporting agencies, and just hounding them until they get the results that you want. Like something you would never want to do on your own. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think I had a few the late payments that were showing up, but they weren't really late. And so in the background, I think I paid $75 to start the credit repair. But if you've ever worked with a credit repair specialist, those fees can range, from $300 to thousands of dollars. So you just pay this at one time, I think it's $75, and then it does all the work in the background. And in fact, my credit score has gone up by 60 points since I've started using it. How great is that? That's just another one of the things that Angel AI provides. But the cold calling center is what we were going to kind of focus on today. And like Tim said, the callers are actually based here in the United States. So you know that they're going to be speaking with a clear voice. And I hate to say that, but that's one downside that I've heard from the wholesalers I work with, right? Because investors kind of became my niche. So I hear the horror stories of, oh my gosh, I've been working with this group out of the Philippines and the language barriers really stopping calls at the 3-second mark. Well, Angel AI's full call centers are here in the United States. In fact, they're opening up one in Irving in the next couple of weeks. And so we'll have one even closer to home, which is going to be great.
Nice.
So we're only going to be in this scenario paying for this very affordable data that Tim has available for us, not the dialing. And so this is meant to run in the background so that you can still run your business and do all of the things that only you can do, which is the meeting with the clients, sitting down and having lunch with people, that really special marketing that, like I said, only you can do. And so, like I said, Angel AI was really built to amplify realtor productivity, and it's all AI driven. And another cool thing is it's on the blockchain. So everything that's entered into it is protected. In fact, I have a twin, an angel twin, that looks like me, sounds pretty close to me, that I can send to people to start, just the real estate conversation. So it's like a personal assistant.
Awesome. That's very cool.
All right, so this is kind of how it gets started, and I'm not going to show you a live demo. In fact, I will do that in the follow-up, which all of you will be invited to the live demo. But I'm just going to run through the steps, and then if you have questions, come to the live demo, which we will send an email out about. I'll also send a one-pager of all of this, just a recap, because I am going to run through this quickly. So the first thing you're going to want to do outside of the ShareGroup stuff, which Tim's going to get into shortly, is you're going to want to get your Angel AI account set up. It's totally free. You can scan that QR code if you want, or you can just type in that thing at the bottom. In fact, Drew, if you want to pop that in the chat, that website, that way if people want to click it and then they can have it open to explore later. So you're going to set up your Angel AI account, which, remember, like I said, it's blockchain. So everything in there is very safe. And then you're going to ask Angel to run a new errand. And I know this is kind of sounding very high level because you're going to ask it to start a new errand. Those errands can be anything from the credit repair, like I told you, to help me create a twin, to start a cold call campaign. And so it's going to walk you through the steps. And one of the steps is to provide the leads. And that's where ShareGroup's leads come in. You're going to want those leads in a CSV file, which I believe, Tim, that's how they're automatically downloaded. Yeah, it is a CSV. And you're just going to get your leads, make sure you have all the ones that you want in there, and make sure you have the phone numbers, which all of Tim's have phone numbers. Some of them have email addresses. But when I do the cold call campaign, I just strictly focus on call and voicemail. And then I build my script inside of ChatGPT, which takes a little practice. And once again, in the live demo, I'll kind of show you more of that. And then
Okay, so she's hit a snag there. I think that the Wi-Fi at the flip house is not fabulous, but I'm sure she'll be right back. I can help out here. So getting started, pretty simple. Go to angelai.com, download the app on your phone. There's a lot of Angel AI-ish apps. Look for this logo of the circle around the dancer. That's how you'll know that you've got the right app downloaded for your phone. The Angel AI will flag all of your leads, hot leads, immediately. You can get notifications via text and email. Another cool thing is that the no answers, the voicemails, you will record your voicemail for each campaign and leave that message will be left in your voice for any voicemails that your calling center hits. So you're getting value whether they answer the phone or not in terms of your ability to introduce yourself, leave a message, and then get a call back. So those leads that turn out and raise their hand, those are the ones that I would add into my CRM, unless you upload the whole thing because you have other outreach built into your CRM.
And there's a question in the chat. Is there a minimum number of leads that you need to buy?
Yeah, the minimum leads that we sell is 1,500 leads for $300, and I'll put some pricing up, in just a moment. In terms of scripts, I'm going to give you 3 tiers of outreach. So when you make a call, that's the absolute best outcome, and it's the most expensive. It's also the most effective. One step removed from that is your own VA, somebody who you work with, who you train, you listen to the calls, and you coach. That will be the second most effective. Angel AI will be just below that because they are doing your campaign on your script to your list, but they haven't been trained and coached and developed specifically for your outcome. So the limitation is the universe that we define and upload, and the script is going to be executed, okay? But we give up that productivity because we have unlimited resources in terms of calling. So we're going to do short and friendly, open with value. We've used ChatGPT several times to refine the script, and some scripts will be shared with you on the implementation call when we do that as well. I'm going to tell you that you don't have to use ShareGroup data in order to use the calling services of Angel AI. So you have names and you have phones that are perfectly good for campaigns. In fact, so open house calls, if you place a call and your only outcome is the ability to add them to your email list so you can send them a home bot or home valuation report, that's a big win. Because if you can accumulate more of those names and emails of targeted sellers and do your regular communication, the calling is less important at that point in time because you're going to now understand if they're opening and reading and engaging with your email content through those third-party providers. So community events, super good. Open houses, newsletters, anything like that is a great idea.
Guys.
That's okay. We've been keeping track here, but those are all good outcomes for the script. What's not a good outcome is we made 500 calls. We're trying to get a listing appointment. You're not going to go from a cold call from the call center, likely, unless lightning in a bottle. You're not going to go from that initial cold call to a listing appointment. What we're going to try to do is build your audience of people who know who you are, follow you, and read your emails. If we can take that from whatever number it is today, and we do this for 2 years and add 1,000, that means that you're going to have 30 more transactions if you add 1,000 in the next 2 years, just a 3% conversion. So we were covered this a little bit, but maybe you want to chat on this slide about the scripts.
Yeah, exactly. I did want to show you guys this one because it was really neat what happened. By the way, I don't know what happened to the internet. It just left me for a minute. But so what I've learned is, in fact, I'm the same way. When I get a call from someone I don't know, in the first few seconds, I decide whether or not I'm going to listen. So I think it is really important to build in a good hook. And so I tell ChatGPT when I'm building my script, I need a short 30 to 45-second script with a strong hook. And if you use ChatGPT often enough, it starts to find your tone, right? It starts to understand who you are. And then after that hook, once I have them engaged, then I start asking questions. So on the screen is one that I just launched for a golf tournament that we're hosting at BK here in November, supporting veterans. But I started it off with something funny, right? My hook. And so it's golf and veterans both require ba 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 ba. And I had that going. So there were golf veterans. Who's going to hang up about golf or veterans, right? And then I launch into what we're trying to do. And so once you're an Angel and you upload those leads, you're going to upload a script. And you'll notice that in this script as well, I have, for the cold caller, I have, if they say this, then go to this step. Or if they say no, then try this. Because the cold call center they're going to do as much or as little as you tell them to do. So it's nice to have the variations of answers built in there so that they can play off of it. So I was actually at a golf tournament with my sister, and we were in Keller. It was for the Keller football team booster. We sponsored a hole. And this is before I launched this golf tournament script. I had already launched my Do You Know Brittney Kosev Yet? From the data that I pulled from Tim. And we're sitting there, we're meeting the players, and someone goes, "Oh, hey, I've heard of you. Someone called about you the other day." And it was one of the data leads that I pulled from Tim, and he knew who I was, brand awareness, because of the script I built and put inside Angel. So great.
Awesome. Very good. Thanks for that, Brittany. And I covered some other campaign ideas. Are there any other ideas that you had besides the ones here?
Yeah. So what we've found is the best response rate on these cold calls isn't typically the setting up the appointments. You might get a hit from those. I think Tim went over the 3%, 2% conversion rate. You might get a hit from those. The best return is if you have an event that you're inviting people to. Because who doesn't mind a call to be invited to a party or to be invited to an event, or better yet, an open house? If it's opening weekend and you've got a list that you bought from Tim for the zip code that your house is in, have the call center invite all the neighbors to the open house. Because here's what we talk about a lot at BK. Open houses are a great way to get buyers, but the real gold is getting the nosy neighbors to come in and get sellers out of it. So we always have, at least the agents that I've trained and coached, I always tell them, hey, have a CMA run of that neighborhood so that if a nosy neighbor comes in, you can say, oh, by the way, did you know that homes are averaging about 220 a square foot in your zip code? And you're getting that conversation started. And they might have been invited from the cold call center from the leads that you purchased from Tim. So I think that having an event is one of the best response rates. But really remember, this is all running in the background because it's top of funnel. In the sales process, you are trying to fill the top of your funnel with as many people as possible because there's an average of every 100 people that you know that you're in flow with. This is a ninja selling trick right here for anybody that's read Ninja Selling, big fan. That for every 100 people that you're actively engaged with and flow with, they're on your newsletter, you call them occasionally, maybe you see them at PTA events, maybe your cold call center is inviting them to your client events coming up. Every 100 people, 10 transactions happen from every 100 people that you are in flow with. So that's not calling once with the cold call center and then never touching them again. Like Tim said, this is meant to complement you because you are the real value and you are going to be the reason people want to work with you. This is just filling your funnel.
I'm gonna tag onto that because we have clients who are doing senior selling events. So this is the downsizer. So we'll do something fun here. Open up the chat window right now. Everybody should have that open. And the first person who gives me the correct answer, or at least my correct answer, which I got from a reputable source, is going to get 500 free leads. So I haven't done this, but I just thought of this. So open up your chat, get ready to go to your numbers. What's the average age of a seller in 2024? Nope. Close. Nope.
Ooh.
We're bouncing. 63, Mike Evans. That's correct.
All right. Way to go, Mike.
Half of your prospecting has to be over the age of 63. Okay? Half of it. I know it's not true. You're not doing that. I read in Housing Wire earlier today that aging in place is one of the highest threats or risks to the senior seller. Addressing that is pretty important. So who answers their phones? 64-year-olds or 34-year-olds?
True.
64-year-olds do. Okay. So these senior selling events are pretty cool. You have that community event. All right, 38s do. You have that community senior selling event where you're going to have a clubhouse, a community space and you're going to go, we're going to talk about how to avoid taxes, sell at the right time, get your maximum return on investment. And the biggest threat, really, because I'm over that 60 age and lots of my friends are selling, is it's not selling, it's where we're going to go and are we going to be happy there? That's the real question. If they knew where they were going and that they had confidence that they were going to be happy there, they would be eager to sell. Okay.
What a great idea, Tim. I mean,
That's
so
fun.
many group homes, so many senior living facilities would probably love to co-host an event with agents. Hey, we'll bring in cookies. We'll make sure they're sugar-free for the diabetics. We'll we'll
Yeah.
host a selling seminar and highlight how amazing your facility is. My daughter and I just watched on Netflix, speaking of, the Thursday Murder Club. Highly recommend it. But all of these elderly
My wife
people,
read it.
it's so good, are living inside of this amazing home where they each have apartments and they've got friends and things to do, because we know that our aging homeowners, when they're living in solitude, have a higher likelihood of falling, dying early.
Yeah.
Loneliness is real. And so I think this is such a great niche. Oh my gosh, Tim, you just gave me an idea.
Well, I did a whole webinar on this, and 63 is the right number. The other crazy thing about that is when you bought that home, was it your ideal home now or for the next 5 years or 35 years from now? It was only ideal for a limited amount of time, and then it changes. All the people that you grew up with moved out. Are you going to be the last one there? It's a lot of fun. So if it's limited, if you say we're going to have 10 couples there, we're going to have 20 couples there, then you don't have that social anxiety. Like, this is a big room. What is it? But something in writing that they can see. Super great. We could go on and on about great ideas for using the data and the calling to go after a specific niche and be successful in a way that you pioneer. That's the first slide. You're going to find your own way, and hopefully this is it. So couple more slides from Brittney, and we're going to wrap it up pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to lay some expectations out. The calling that Angel will do is consistent, and you can launch multiple call campaigns at the same time. In fact, I highly recommend that, especially if you're new to this, because we want to see which scripts are hitting. And Angel will be sending reports, which I think is also on another slide coming up that I'll show you. But the calling needs to be consistent. People say, well, I tried the cold call center and it didn't work. I didn't get any hits. Well, how many times did you set up the campaigns? Only once. Well, it needs to be consistent, and you need to be changing the script. So I purchased, I believe, 2,000 leads to get started with Tim, and I broke them into groups, and I beta tested different variations of scripts to see which ones were getting the most results. And then I could try all of it again with a different script, but of that same model of the one that got the most hits. And so the thing to remember here is not every lead is going to convert immediately. This is a long game, and it's also something that's going to be running in the background as you are still doing all of the things that you know that you should be doing as an agent. And the goal, and I tell this to my agents all the time, your goal is conversations. You need to be having at least 10 conversations with people about real estate every week, preferably every day if you really want to be successful in this. 5 to 10 every day. But if you're doing that, you're going to be talking about real estate. You're going to be thinking about real estate. And what we think about, what we talk about, guys, that's what manifests in our life. You know, a lot of agents quit this business after a few years. In fact, the NAR statistic is 87% of agents leave this industry after 5 years. And I can tell you what, it's either because they have so much business and they're so overwhelmed and they're so stressed, but more than likely, it's because they're not making money. And so they're treating this job like a hobby, and hobbies don't pay you money, businesses do. And so you have to treat everything that you do each day as a business. And this cold call center, the data that Tim has, it's all, like I said, filling the top of the funnel of your business. And it's going to be persistency, right? Persistence is going to turn into a full pipeline, which is then going to turn into closings, because the top of the funnel, it's going to narrow down to the actual closings. So the more conversations you're having at the top of your funnel, the more conversions you're going to get that will turn into closings.
For sure. I like it. All right. Let's see. So getting started, real simple. You already have a link to shop at TheShareGroup. That's where you come create an account, and you can look at how many leads are available in the zip codes that you're interested in. We can also do a one-on-one to help you find custom lead set. Like I had a guy in California who said, I want families with at least one kid that have less than 2,500 square feet that have been in the home at least 5 years. Growing family, outgrowing their home, has equity, they can upgrade. So there's lots of great niches out there that we can bring to life for you based on what you want to go after. 2,500 credits. How many dials are you getting per week, Brittney, right now? About, do you know how many they're making on your behalf?
Yeah, I mean, the last campaign I launched had 1,200 data leads in there, and they're calling every single day, and they're hitting about 600 a week on average. So we're getting a lot of calls in there.
Okay. Yeah. So 2,500 leads for $450. If you call them 3 times, that's 7,500. If they're doing 500 a week, what's that sound like to me? About 3 months worth of leads, something like that. 3 months worth of calling, plus obviously the work that you would do as well. So we can help you pick your market. You're going to download the app. You literally can start a campaign. You can start a campaign in under 5 minutes. If you have your script and your list, record your voicemail. It's very, very simple and easy to get started. So we'll set up an invite. We have people who said, invite me. So of the people that are here, we'll certainly invite you. Is there a maximum number of leads you can upload? I think there's some advice on that. Like you don't want to upload 10,000.
Right. Yeah. Like I was saying, you want to beta test at first. And so depending on how many leads you either have of your own coupled with ones that you purchased from Tim, I would sort them and do beta testing. The most that I've put into one campaign is 1,000. But that was for the golf tournament, and it was pretty straightforward. So I figured that one I didn't need a beta test too much. But when I was trying to communicate with sellers, that's when I broke them into smaller chunks. So to answer for Angel, I'm not exactly sure, but I would say I wouldn't go over 1,000 at a time with one script. But you can launch as many campaigns as you want.
Right. The golf tournament or community event. So there was one that was held in March, and they got 144 golfers. They reached out to 500. Let's say that that's true. You could go to that golf tournament and say, hey, I would like to call everybody who played last year and invite them again. What?
Love that.
Give me a quarter-page ad. Instead of paying for a whole sponsorship, I'm going to call all the golfers you want me to call and invite them to your event. How are you going to do that? Don't worry about it. I know how to make it happen. And then you get free advertising for the calling. So this is just
if you're going to sponsor a poll or something, right? Like if you sign up to sponsor a poll, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you don't have to pay any money. You're just going to call them. Okay, so very quickly, our data is built by 3 data sets: every U.S. consumer, the property information, as well as the mortgage information. So all of that is necessary in order for us to profile and tell you who you should call. But within our store that we built, you can do radius counts for open houses or territories, zip codes. You can do skip tracing. You can do individual record lookup. So when you buy lead credits from us, there's lots of things that you can do, including there might be some mortgage brokers on here. You can go in and find homeowners that have over a 7% FHA fixed loan. You can profile just about any homeowner based upon property, people, or the mortgage. You can download your list, suppress the do not call. Lots of things you can do. And I have a great team behind me that will meet with you one-on-one to figure out exactly what you're looking for. So,
and I will say that Angel immediately does filter the do not call list. So you don't have to worry about that with Angel.
Perfect. Okay. It's a little bit different that we don't have the subscriptions. We're going to help you get started. You can call any names from your database. There's really no limit, or restriction. So top three I'm going to cover in just 1 minute. Downsizers, we just talked about them, super popular, at least 60 in their home, 15 years, mostly empty nesters, and less than 20% on that home. Absentee, there's three categories here. They are either short-term rental, long-term rental, or vacation home, but they definitely don't live there. And you're going to be calling that homeowner anywhere in the United States that has a home that they don't live in that's in your target market. Those are great people to go after. That is a 15-second phone call. Calling about your home on Main Street. Brittney, I'm calling about the home that you own over there on Cobblestone Lane. Are you interested in selling it sometime in the next year? They know you don't have to ask who they are. The name is right. I don't have to ask if you own that property. I'm inferred that because the data is accurate, and we can just have a conversation. The absentee,
or if they've lived there, if they purchased it within the last 2 years, they may not be ready to sell, but they might be ready to refinance. And for the agents that are also lenders or the mortgage lenders that are on this call, that's money. For the agents,
yes.
you just have a person you're talking to that then you can share with your preferred lender and put them in your drip campaign, and boom, now they're going to hear from you more often.
I think we automatically, I've got a guy who knows this answer exactly, but I don't think we provide absentee owner leads unless they've had the home at least 3 years, but whatever criteria you want, we can do. The other one are the likely to sell. These are the folks who are the top income earners in their neighborhood. We know that because they have 50% equity. They've been there at least 5 years. And so these are the people who can go to a bigger neighborhood, a bigger home and better neighborhood. We call these likely to sell, but they're also upsizers. Those are our top three: downsizers, absentee, and then likely to sell. Okay. So in summary, we're going to stick with what's working, have to stay consistent, start a new campaign every week, follow up with anybody who raises their hand, and keep going. We hope this has been exciting and successful for you. We'll do a follow-up email with everybody. I don't think I have anything to cover unless there's any Q&A that you want to pop in.
Yeah, Tim, there's one question in the chat. If you leave a message, do they call the call center number or your number back?
So what I typically do in my script, because Angel's going to ask for your call script, and then they're also going to ask for a voicemail script, and they'll leave a voicemail on your behalf. So depending on what my call is about, I usually leave my work phone number in there. And say something like, if this sounds interesting and you wanna chat with Brittney about it, call 972 bop 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 bop. Right. So you can do whatever you want in the voicemail. It could be a call to action to visit a website, like for the golf tournament. It could be, hey, check out the Facebook event. All you need to do is Google X, Y, and Z. So the voicemail can be whatever you want, but I usually use my phone number so that they call me back directly.
Fantastic. Brittney, great job. Thanks for joining us. Good luck in all of your 6 listings that are on market. Hopefully they close and get full offers as soon as possible.
Thank you. And the one that I'm about to list of my own flips next week. That one's me day one, full price.
Did you did you invite your sister into the business, or were you both realtors, or how did that happen? I meant to ask you about that.
Oh, I totally drug her in. I don't know if she's still on the call. She's been in and out, but I'm the oldest of 7. And my yes, my brother's wife works with us, and my sister works with us. My dad's working on his license, and 3 of the other siblings are working on their licenses right now too. So
you are held in check and accountable by family. You can't get away from it. It's all out there.
It's it's kind of like a lot of I don't know everybody's background, but we grew up pretty poor, and so I think that when they started seeing the success I was having, and they're like, whoa, if Brittney can do it, I can do it. And then I was just like, yeah, come on, guys, and let's all be together.
Love it. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for joining, and we look forward to chatting with you soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.